created the rocket fuel bundle. This bundle is a
If you want to eat healthy and feel your best, you gotta try 𝗕𝗏𝗃. 𝗕𝗏𝗃 is the world's healthiest all-in-one meal shake. It's made with 𝗕𝗏𝗃 is the world's healthiest all-in-one meal shake. It's made with
Are you a podcaster? You should check out 𝗧𝗵𝗲 FM. It's your new online.
All right, welcome back to the Home Studio Simplified show. I don't know what to call this portion of it. I guess it's a show. Let's just call it a show. And today we're going to talk about microphones and just have a little Q&A over those. This happens to be one of the main questions that I get from time to time. If you are here and you have not liked the video as of yet, smash that like button, as the kids say these days. And you guys are crazy in the chat. So it's good to see each and every one of you, by the way. It's good to see some familiar faces as well as some new faces. For those of you who are here that you're brand spanking new, you're like, what is this all about? This channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and to help you make professional sounding music in a less than professional space. The motto around here is that we can dream alone and we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. So, speaking of achieving more, we would never be able to achieve what we already do without these awesome individuals who are helping to sponsor the channel. They're either doing that through the Patreon page, through the YouTube memberships, or through the generous donation of the super chats. However, we have this really cool layer that's been added onto this that I'm hoping will supersede all of these other avenues, and that is the HSS VIP membership group. Now, these are the awesome individuals who have, for $9.99 a month, that's $9.99, they have signed up to become a member. Over there on that membership page, you then have an opportunity to get all of the multi-tracks, some that you can add to your portfolio, and others, if I do a live reaction, like not a live reaction, but a raw track reaction here on the channel, you have access to those multi-tracks over there as sort of a perk for joining. There's also some exclusive content over there. It's going to be growing and just keep growing the more that we have individuals that sign up that I'm able to actually add to that. It's just getting great. For those of you who are early adopters that have signed up already, thank you so much for sort of beta testing this and getting it up and running, giving me your feedback and let me know what you like and dislike about it. So far, I've got a lot of good feedback, so thank you guys so much for that. Let's go ahead and give a word of 1 year of awesomeness. Yes, awesome. Mob the Gamer, appreciate it, brother. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor real quick before we dive into today's content. Today's video is sponsored in part by the 𝗏𝗵𝗲 Academy. The 𝗏𝗵𝗲 Academy offers affordable courses from mentors, world-class engineers, Grammy winners, and multi-platinum selling producers. And with the resources available on the 𝗏𝗵𝗲 Academy, you can learn how to create radio-ready mixes from the comfort of your own home studio. Most of the courses also offer multi-tracks that you can then add to your portfolio and begin to build out your business. Follow the link in the description of this video to head on over to the 𝗏𝗵𝗲 Academy today and start learning the skills that are needed to take your hobby or your business to the next level. Awesome. So here we are. We are talking about microphones. As you can see behind me, there's not the typical just blue light static scene back there. This is, sorry, I'm reading the chat here real quick. I commented on one of your vids about myself and my brother messing with Cakewalk a while back. I have on a PC that I can no longer access. Okay. Maybe we can get you up and running with that. Let's see what we can do. But with that being said, Thank you all so much for being here today. We are going to talk microphones. I'm excited about this because this is, like I said, this is a question that I get all the time. I get these questions like, what's the best microphone for X, Y, and Z? What's the most budget-friendly best microphone? What's the first microphone I should purchase? Microphones are a big deal. I mean, especially if you plan on recording instruments or yourself. So we're going to kind of dive into this topic a little bit. Now we're going to skim the surface here, but I'm going to let you know, sort of a spoiler alert, if you're a VIP member, I'm actually creating a more in-depth 3-part series to this that's going to deal with microphone choice, what are microphones, which one would you choose in certain situations, all the way into recording with them and then mixing them. So if you want to, it's going to be like basically a full-blown vocal production package with microphones in mind. If you want to know more about that, sign up for the VIP membership. This would be a great time to do that. So if you are interested in that kind of thing. Now, if that's not your kind of thing, maybe you're never going to use a microphone in your life. Today, I think we can still cover some things that may, in fact, actually help you. So let's take a look here at the microphones that we're going to be talking about today. So this here is my ever-growing mic locker. As you can see here, there's various different microphones that I have access to be able to utilize in my home studio for recording. Now, that being said, you don't have to have all of these microphones. In fact, if I had to narrow it down to just a few of these microphones, I could definitely pinpoint which ones I would keep and which ones, if I had to throw them out, I would. So, but we're going to talk about sort of the cons, the pros and cons of these microphones. We're also going to talk about what application would you want to use these in, where would they be useful, and then we're going to go from there and just kind of just get nerdy about this. So basically, what you're looking at here is my mic locker. It's not as big as some, but it's also not as small as some. But honestly, every microphone that I have that here before me, these are microphones that I'm using for a specific purpose. And I typically don't just buy something because I want to buy it. I usually buy it because I need it for a specific job, which if you are not doing that, you need to get in the habit of thinking that way. Like, do I need this microphone because it's going to do something different than this microphone? Because in all actuality, when you start to get to thinking about the minutia of things, a lot of times, we start thinking, well, we got to have 7 microphones to get different soundscapes. But in all actuality, the same microphone can produce great results on a wide variety of sources. So don't go out and buy like 50 microphones thinking that's going to solve all your problems. But what we are going to talk about is the 4 different microphone types. Now, I realize there are actually more than this, but we're going to talk about the 4 main types, that being dynamic microphones, large diaphragm microphones, small condenser diaphragm, large diaphragm condenser microphones, small diaphragm condenser microphones, and ribbon microphones. So these are the 4 main things that we're going to talk about today that hopefully by the time we're done, you'll at least have a better understanding of which one you might want to purchase if you haven't bought one yet, which one might be your next purchase. If you're looking to upgrade, we can even talk about that. And I also want to have this as sort of an open Q&A because if you have questions about these microphones or which one do you think would work better for this, then this would be a great time for you to ask that as well. So let's go ahead and start. I wish I had the ability to kind of point. If I had a laser pointer, that would have even been cool. I should have thought of that, but I don't have a laser pointer. So, but starting at where you're looking here, your very left side of the screen, this is a Lewitt LCT-140 Air. This is what would be considered a small diaphragm condenser microphone. Next to it is the Stephen Slate ML1. This is a modeling microphone. So this microphone is for a specific reason. Yet again, this is not one of those like you're getting it for one thing and one thing only. So this is sort of like a Swiss Army knife. Next to that is the Rode NT1A. Next to that is the sound reference microphone that you get whenever you buy SonarWorks the Sound Reference ID software to measure your room and your speakers. Next to that, which looks ironically a lot like the one next to it, is the Behringer Ecm 80, I believe. I think you can get these all day long on Amazon for about $50. But this is essentially an measurement microphone. Next to that is the LCT 440 Pure. Next to that is the MXL V67G with the gold grill there that I can't stand. I wish I had a silver grill for it. I'm not a big fan of gold, guys, just to let you know. Next to that is the Blue Spark XL. Next to that is the TechZone Audio products. This is the X2 Stellar, I believe. And then next to that is the Maono large diaphragm condenser microphone. Now what you'll see on the front half of the table here, there is a longer microphone. They usually call these shotgun microphones. And then behind it is sort of a handheld dynamic microphone. Next to that is two Shure Sm57 dynamic microphones. And then next to that, there's two different options there of clip-on or lapel microphones. And then lastly, kind of standing up even behind those, is a microphone that you would put on like a camera or something. And this is yet again another version of a dynamic microphone. So let's talk about dynamic mics first. As you can see, I actually have more condenser mics than I do dynamic mics. But that's not to say like condenser mics are better. It just depends on what you're using them for. So let me real quickly, we're just going to kind of go through like what a dynamic microphone is. So dynamic microphones are the workhorses essentially of the microphone world. They're cheap, durable. They sound fantastic on some of the most common sources that you're going to use in recording. Dynamic mics are responsive to transients, and they also, another good thing about them is they handle high SPL or sound pressure levels very well. And this makes them a natural choice for loud sources like drum kits, close mics for snares, guitar and bass cabs, as well as even some singers honestly like to sing through these. And then, of course, the one I'm using right now, the Shure SM7B. That's right, 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Thank you for pointing that out. So given how affordable and versatile most of these microphones are, there should definitely be at least one dynamic microphone or even two in your collection. And if you only have room for one, there's really only a single serious contender here on the table. That is the Shure SM57. This versatile SM57 is one of the most accessible tools in recording because you can find them nearly anywhere for anywhere from like 60 to 50, sometimes $50. You can find them, you know, new for like, I think 90, 75, somewhere around there. The thing about that is these are workhorses. They are built tough. You can use these things for nearly anything. But obviously the main thing that they're sort of famous for, if you want to call it that, is for the ability to actually record guitar cabs and things like that very well. So while we're looking at these microphones, one thing that you want to consider is the dynamic microphones have a little bit of an advantage over your typical condenser microphone in that the condenser microphones are going to pick up noises more readily. They're more sensitive to sounds. So anything like lip smacking, dogs barking in the background, you know, your neighbor that just decided he's got to mow the yard for the first time this year, whatever it might be, these are going to be the microphones that whenever you reach for them, they're going to pick that up. So dynamic microphones, on the other hand, they don't pick that stuff up as well. And so what you have is with the dynamic microphones, you have this ability to actually sort of, you have this area of rejection. So if I was to like, say for instance, with this microphone I'm using right now, okay, this is the area that it's picking up, but this is the area of rejection. So if I was to flip this microphone around and talk into it, I can try this, which I don't represent the best. I would definitely not do this, especially if you're trying to do a podcast or something like that. And here we are again. So as you can see, it has a very high level of sound rejection from the back, from the sides. Now this one here is built a little bit differently in the sense that because it's a broadcast microphone and you have this longer grill that's on it, which actually, if I took this off, you can see there's actually a long grill here. And then the dynamic portion of that is way down here. They did this purposely so that if the radio DJ has to lean over like this to flip a switch, or maybe they're coming over here to do this, it still sounds relatively the same regardless of how I'm moving in front of it. And now all of my plosives sound better. So with that being said, dynamic microphones are going to be a great choice for something like guitar cabinets. They're going to be a great choice for recording whenever you're on a budget and you don't want to pick up all of the sounds in your apartment, the hum of your computer fans. Reach for a dynamic microphone. More than likely, it's going to be your best bet. Now, going back to the microphone table here, the reason why I would choose an 𝗬𝗵𝗲 is because not only are they affordable, but they're built very, very well, and they actually sound good on a wide variety of sources. So there's a great range of dynamic designs that work for tons of studio recordings situations. You don't have to just choose these. I mean, there's the Electro Voice RE20, there's the Sennheiser MD421, there's the Shure SM7B, which I'm speaking into right now. While all of these microphones are great, none have the grand slam sort of price to performance ratio as the 𝗬𝗵𝗲. I mean, you're not going to find a better microphone at that price, in that price point, that's going to do everything that it does. I mean, this thing will record vocals. It'll record acoustic guitar. It will record, believe it or not, it actually does pretty good on acoustic guitar in most situations, unless you need a specific sound. It does great on louder sources like amp cabs, snares, kick drums. You can even put these things on the kick drum. You would not believe the kind of a sound you can get out of a kick drum with this to blend in with sort of a lower thud. But like I said, there's a wide variety of uses for the 𝗬𝗵𝗲. So it's really the go-to mic of choice for many engineers for guitar cabs and snare drums. So honestly, no home studio should be without an 𝗬𝗵𝗲. If you don't have one, I would definitely recommend getting one as your next purchase. If you can't afford it, it's not necessarily the end of the world either. Just use what you've got and, use it to the best of your ability. Obviously, we're also talking not just about microphones, but we're also talking about this, the whole instance of how to use them. So because you have this point of rejection on the back of the microphone, you can use this to your advantage. So you can literally point this point of rejection at the sound source that you're not wanting to record. So if you have a loud fan coming off of your computer, you can point the back of the microphone towards that loud fan. You're not going to pick up as much of it. Another good choice, as just mentioned here, is the Audio-Technica AT2020. That's another good choice. But with that being said, because you have that to work with, you want to utilize that to your advantage. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing it to your advantage. So now let's talk a little bit about the large diaphragm condenser. So large diaphragm condenser microphones are honestly, they're probably the first thing that comes to mind when you think about studio recording mics. They're large, they're stylish, they're serious looking microphones. You see them in a lot of professional recording studio situations, in magazines, on websites. They're much more sensitive, however, than dynamic mics, as we've already spoke of, or even ribbon microphones, and they output a louder signal. So their sensitivity makes them ideal for quiet or extremely dynamic sources like vocals. This is why a lot of times when you see a vocalist singing in the studio, 9 times out of 10, they have a large diaphragm condenser microphone in front of them. Now, large diaphragm condensers exhibit a number of sonically pleasing qualities for voices, and that's why they choose them. But they also help to create that larger than life sound that we associate with pro studio sound vocals, because they pick up more of the room around them. So this is where having a good room that's kind of, even a little bit treated is going to get you a better recording with a large diaphragm condenser microphone. Now, if your room is poorly treated and you're in a space that just sounds horrible, there are some ways that you can mitigate that. In fact, we just had an individual here within the HSS collab group who posted a photo where he had put all kinds of blankets up, and he said, this is my, makeshift vocal booth for right now. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And don't be afraid to do that stuff. And, people's going to, for one, most people don't even need to see that. You don't even have to post that. I think it's kind of commendable that he did, because I feel like that was kind of a bold, step for him to put out there. And that also lets me know that he feels like the group is safe enough to post that picture, without, fear of people making fun or anything like that. So I think it's really cool that he did post that picture on social media. In fact, because he posted it, I'm going to go ahead and share it with you real quick, and then let you know. That way you can kind of see. Yeah, so here's what he did. As you can see, there's blankets, there's pillows. He's kind of stuffed up in the corner here, and then just a little light so he can still see what he's doing. But he's got everything sort of makeshift here so that he can record his vocals and not have to worry about the room interfering with getting into that microphone. So I think it's we had some individuals in here that's, was the way that he posed it. He said, I've built a meth den. It's not a meth den, but it's actually a 5-minute DIY vocal booth. And so we kind of had some laughs about that. But I even told him, if it works, then it works. And that's the main thing. Don't worry about what people are saying when it comes to, oh no, this person's doing that or that person's doing this. At the end of the day, you got to do what's going to work. And you don't always have to post that stuff if you don't want to. So I know a lot of people feel like they have to post everything that they do. So you don't necessarily have to do that. One thing that I want to also cover about the large diaphragm condenser microphone is that not only are they much more sensitive than dynamic mics, but they're also a little bit more, they require a little bit more care. So a dynamic microphone, literally the SM58, SM57s have literally built stages that people have performed on and then went on to still do their job at the end of the night. You definitely would be hard pressed to find a condenser, large diaphragm condenser, or even a small diaphragm condenser that could do that and still be operable. And you'd be really hard pressed to find a ribbon microphone that you could do that with and it'd still be operable. So I would definitely recommend taking better care of your large diaphragm condensers. You can't just throw them in a box. You can't just throw them around. In fact, I always try to keep mine in some form of a padded case. And then from there, I also try and usually include some kind of, what do they call that? The dry L beads, silica gel beads. You get, whenever you purchase something, you'll get a little, a packet or something, that to keep it dry. I even put some of those in my mic cases just to make sure that no moisture is getting on the diaphragm, because once that diaphragm gets ruined, that's it. It's I kind of always try to think of it like an ear. And I am currently searching up right now the boom microphone stand that I'm currently using. And then if you want to get your hands on the one that I'm using, you can, but obviously there's tons of them out there. So I do see the questions. I'm going to make sure that I get to them. Let me see here. Got to go back through my history here to make sure I get the link to the exact one that I'm using right now. There's a lot of different options out there. So it's kind of like, you know, at this point in time, almost all boom arms for a microphone are good. The ones that you're paying extra for, you're mainly just paying for the ability for them to hold heavier microphones. Like the one that I'm using right now, it actually holds this 𝗬𝗵𝗲 or 𝗬𝗵𝗲 rather, which is a very heavy microphone. And once I find it here, when did I buy this thing? It's like going back to this entire list. I'm like, good night. It's like way back here, evidently. Okay, it should be coming up now. But yeah, there's also, you know, you're going to find a lot of boom arms on Amazon that's like $35 something. And although, you know, some of those are okay, you also have to be careful because some of them you can put even the lightest of microphones on there and it's just going to droop and it's not going to be good at all. So, all right, I finally found it. So if you follow this link here that I just posted in the chat, this will take you straight to the boom arm that I'm currently using, which if you have not seen it as of yet, maybe you just came on, it's this one right here. This is the Toner brand. Now this thing is only $29 right now. And this thing is rock solid. I mean, I've got one of the heaviest microphones that I own is hanging off of this thing right now. And it does it. It's been doing it now for 3 years, day in, day out, and just fine. So follow that link if you want to go and check that out. By the way, that is an affiliate link. So if you purchase it through there at no extra cost to you, I'll get a small commission. And I do mean small, like 25 cents for you buying that. But every little bit counts, right? So back to the microphones. So yes, they are more upkeep. Another aspect of these large diaphragm condensers is that they also have to have 48 volt phantom power in order to operate. So in other words, you have to have an interface or a box that will give you that, or even like a cloud lifter kind of, not a cloud lifter. That's actually for extra gain. Basically you have to have like a preamp or some kind of a interface that will provide you with the 48 volt phantom power that you're going to need to power these microphones. This is also what helps them to be so much more sensitive. They help to create a lot more space in your recordings, though. I will definitely say that. So if you're looking for one mic that maybe can handle every task you're going to throw at it, consider a large diaphragm condenser. Whereas, you know, the 𝗬𝗵𝗲 that we spoke of earlier, it's going to struggle on some sources. You're going to have to do more work on the back end to get it to set well into a mix. Whereas, you know, a large diaphragm condenser is probably going to do a better job on a wider variety of sources. But then you have to take into account the other cons of that. Well, it's going to pick up a lot more. So now many modern large diaphragm condensers offer selectable polar patterns, which also makes them incredibly versatile and useful in tons of different recording situations as well. And that's what makes them sometimes one of the best mics for building your studio around, is that fact that it has that versatility. Now, all of the ones that I have here on the table, the only one that even has like a switchable switch on it, well, there's actually two, is the shotgun microphone that's laying down, the very long one in the front. And it has a switch to where you can set it from cardioid to super cardioid or hyper cardioid, something like that. And then the LCT-140 on the far left, the little one on the far left, it also has like a bump where you can give it some air. So it's basically like a built-in EQ for that microphone. But none of these actually have selectable polar patterns like something like the Blue Yeti would have, or what's the newest? The LCT-1040 has like a crazy amount of selectable polar patterns. And these polar patterns basically just are ways for you to know where the microphone is picking up. So one thing about the polar patterns, you have to look at what that symbol is doing in order to know what the polar pattern is doing itself. So just real quickly, I could probably Google some pictures here. Yep, here's a perfect one right here. So let me pull this up for you, make it a little bit easier. Oh wow, that's yeah, that's not gonna work. Super tiny. Just trying to find a good picture here for you guys. Let's see, what's this one doing? Here we go. This one should work. Okay, so here are a bunch of different polar patterns. Now, essentially, a polar pattern is just literally telling you what direction that polar pattern is picking up from. So if you see like this here is the back of the microphone, then wherever the polar pattern is facing is the only area where it's picking up. So over here in this empty section over here, you can see that it's picking up nothing whatsoever. But in omnidirectional, you can see that it's actually picking up 360 degrees around the microphone itself. Whereas the supercardioid is sort of got this area of rejection right behind the front of the microphone. So this is going to vary too from microphone to microphone. But most typical dynamic microphones are cardioid in the sense that they only pick up what's in front of them and they reject all of the sounds behind them. This is, like I said, the most common. Then there's supercardioid, hypercardioid, figure of 8, which actually picks up everything in front and behind it, and then a shotgun. And this sort of is almost omnidirectional, but it's like more sort of honed in. So with that being said, that's what a polar pattern sort of is. Essentially, all it is just a way for you to know where the microphone is picking up at. So what some good usages for those, like a cardioid microphone is only going to pick up what's in front of it. Therefore, a good use for that would be, something like a singer, an acoustic guitar, whatever would require like you to get that one source recorded. So if it's a choir, you're not going to get a very good result using something with a cardioid pattern, just simply because it's only going to pick up what's in front of the microphone. However, if you have something with an omnidirectional pattern that's going to pick up everything around it, you can literally set that microphone down in the middle of 6, 7, voices and have them gather around the microphone in a circle, and you're going to pick up a pretty good amount of balanced recording from all of them at once. So there's definitely some good applications. Now, most large diaphragm microphones are cardioid in the sense that you speak into the front of it, and from behind it, it rejects. Also, it's notable to mention that, and I see this all the time, and it gripes my butt, but I see all of the time where individuals are speaking into the top of a condenser microphone when it's not going to produce a great sound, and they complain later, well, this microphone doesn't sound good. Well, it's because you're talking into the top of it. You're supposed to be talking into the front of it. So kind of getting into the chat here real quick. Okay, I don't think I've really missed any like major questions or anything like that, so that's good. Jeremiah Peterson says, sorry if it's already been discussed, just got here, but what are some really great standouts that can be bought on a budget? That's a great question. So as you can see, that's being cut off, as you can see. There we go. So as you can see on the table behind me, starting at the very farthest left, if you're wanting to record acoustic guitar, if you're wanting to record guitar cabinets, something like that, this is a great microphone to start with. But if you're wanting something that's more versatile, that's going to work for even a vocalist, you're going to want to go with, honestly, in my opinion, the LCT 440 Pure that's right here in the middle. It's the black microphone here in the middle. Actually, it might be better if I just point to that. So that there is the LCT 440 Pure. That microphone is only going to run you anywhere from, $149, I think, is MSRP on that right now. That's a phenomenal deal for what that microphone does. In fact, if I had to get one microphone out of all of these on the table, it would be that one. Simply because it sounds good on guitar cabs, it sounds good on vocals, it sounds good on acoustic guitar. That's hard to do for all of those variety of sources. That's hard to do unless the microphone has got some really good internal specs as well as a solid diaphragm. So honestly, your LCT 440 Pure that's on the table here is going to be, by and large, your best bet. So I'm going to go ahead and research real quick, just to make sure that I'm not telling you wrong, what the going price is for this. Yeah, I'm glad I researched that, because actually right now it's $260. They have went up in price. Wow. Okay, wait a minute. I see one for $159 that comes with an XLR cable and a pop filter, which is weird because the actual microphone comes with a pop filter. That's interesting. So yeah, if you get the 440 Pure, that's a little bit more money. But it looks like if you get the 240, which honestly, there's not much of a difference. I believe the 440 has just a little bit better sonic capabilities and qualities. Yeah, the one that I was looking at for 160 is actually the 240, so that makes sense now. Yeah. So it looks like the best price that I'm seeing right now, and it is the Amazon choice, which means it's usually the cheapest and coming from the most reputable of individuals, is this one right here. So I've posted a link to that there in the chat. Yeah, yet again, this is an affiliate link, so I would encourage you to use that link to purchase the microphone if you're going to, just simply because it's going to, at no extra cost to you, provide me with a little bit more of some extra income for doing stuff like this. Yeah, but great question though. Let me make sure that I'm not missing any others before I move on to the next portion of microphones that we're going to be talking about. Let's see. Keith Ferris, that is so true. There's been an entire pro records made with just the 57s. We discussed this. Talked about stands. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗛𝗦𝗦 says he has the Behringer B1 diaphragm condenser and recommend it as such for vocals and acoustic instruments. I've heard some of his work. 𝗧𝗵𝗲's got some good work, so I would say it's definitely worth looking into. Chris has his MXL 990. MXL 990 is not a bad microphone. It's a great starter microphone because the price is really, really good. But with that being said, hold on a second here. There we go. But with that being said, I wouldn't recommend it long term. And I only say that because the there's actually better choices in the MXL microphone range that I think honestly provide better results. Preferably the one that I have here on the table, the MXL 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Let me try to pull this up. Now, last time I checked, these are actually still reasonable. Oh yeah, $73. $73 on Amazon right now. Now, this is the only caveat to this. I want you to see this. And the only reason why I mainly, for the longest time, did not like this microphone. So there's the link, Chris, for the 𝗧𝗵𝗲 if you're interested. But the only reason why I did not like this microphone was because of this. I do not like that green. I just didn't like the green and the gold. In fact, I still don't like the gold grill. So I actually, if you look at the one that I have now, I actually spray painted the body of it matte black, and it looks a whole lot better. I like it. I like it now. But honestly, this microphone is a beast for the price that you're going to pay. $69 right now. That's the lowest price on Amazon right now that I've found. And that ships out all day long with, I believe, even free shipping. So yeah, you can't beat that. You can even get it with a 6-foot, 10-foot cable. You can get it with a shock mount at the link that I just provided. So you can even get the 𝗧𝗵𝗲 tube version. Oh, it's currently unavailable. That stinks. Oh well. But yeah, it's definitely a good microphone. In fact, I have some recordings that I've shared here on the channel where the vocalist used this 𝗧𝗵𝗲, and I used it on the acoustic guitar that was recorded as well, and it sounds absolutely amazing. One thing that I did do to this microphone that sort of to modify it is you'll notice just by looking at the picture here that it is just a little bit more open and transparent, because there's actually 2 layers of mesh film in this, and I removed the innermost layer of mesh so that it would kind of open the microphone up a little more. You got to be careful doing that because you can actually damage the grill, but it worked fine, and it actually made the microphone sound just like 1% better. So if you don't have to do it, I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, that's definitely, that would honestly be an upgrade at a very affordable budget price, $69, and that would get you pretty close as well to that LCT sound, just not quite as high fidelity. The LCT is just, the Lewitt microphone is just absolutely amazing. It's got some of the best microphone quality I've heard in a microphone that affordable. So, what's your opinion on the Peavey HD40 Celebrity Series? I've had mine for nearly 30 years. So I can't really speak too much on that Shepherd's Voice, just simply because I personally don't own one and have never owned one before. That's not to say that they're not a good microphone. Honestly, if it's working for you, then obviously, it's not a bad microphone at all. So I would say, in my opinion, if it's working for you, then roll with it, brother. All right, so let's go ahead and a lot of recording studios nowadays are using the Slate M1 for vocals and ML2, small diaphragm for drums and cabs, and they sound pretty good. With that being said, I actually have one of those here on the table, and I have yet to really honestly put it through its paces. I've been crazy busy. But from the little bit that I have recorded with it, it sounds really good. I can't say that it's like blowing me out of the water, like, oh, wow, I can't believe I ever, why didn't I purchase this sooner? But like I said, I've not put it through its paces yet. I can say from the little bit that I have done with it, though, that it definitely EQs well. Now, that's one of the things that when you get into lower end microphones, like on the very, very far right-hand side, what you have is the 𝗵𝗲 brand. So this microphone sounds really good for speech, for podcasting, for stuff like that. But when you go to like record things where you want to like boost the high end or shave off some high end and boost the low end, what you end up finding out is it just doesn't sound like it EQs well. It's weird. Whereas the MXL V67G looks great. So with that being said, you know, the lower end microphones, it's not so much the sound quality sometimes as it is the quality in post of what you can do to them without them falling apart on you. Because sometimes they literally will fall apart on you. Well, maybe not literally, but the sound will fall apart on you. So you want to take that into account too. You want to make sure that, obviously every purchase that you make, you want to make sure that you need it. So Joshua Helms, who's commented over on Facebook, he says, any advice for a guy like me who has a soft singing voice? What is the correct technique to get good vocals without turning the gain up and getting disgusting mouth noises? With that, it would be compression. However, compression is still going to turn up things. So what I would try to do is I would get a large diaphragm condenser. I would get some form of vocal isolation, whether that's, some kind of foam that you can put up on the walls around you, some kind of, I'm not really a big fan of the mic shields that actually go around the microphone, because to me, honestly, they actually produce more resonances than they do help things. But, hanging up some blankets will take care of a lot of that. It's just, it's a matter of when you're a quieter voice, you just got to be more mindful of, making those lip noises. In fact, one thing that I've seen done, that some people have done before, is they actually just, ploppy. Is they actually, I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat at the same time, is instead of like making crazy amounts of mouth noises, they will actually put like Vaseline on their lips, which kind of helps with the lip smacking. And then they just, depending on the phrasings and everything, you can do a lot in post with editing to kind of take care of some of that. So the main thing that I would just worry about is turning your gain up to where, you're recording yourself hot enough. And if you're a light singer, don't go anything below, 24 dBs, but I would definitely try to stick at around -12 to -18 dBs recording. And then you can always boost that in post, use some compression, which is going to give you more upfront and present vocals. And then there's other things that you can do as well with that. So I'm not sure if you're a VIP member or not, Joshua, but we are getting ready to cover an entire series on recording vocals and mixing vocals in the VIP membership area. So hopefully that'll be helpful to you. And if you're not in there yet, there is a way to still get in there, I believe, for $4.99 for the first month. Actually, no, I think that went away. Anywho, as far as foam is concerned, I want to turn you guys onto a website. Now, I'm not affiliated with these guys, but I probably should be as much as I recommend them. This is a company called Foam by Mail, and these guys have got some excellent stuff. So the crazy thing about this is they are very affordable. So if I was to go to, let's see, I'm looking for, yeah, here it is, acoustic foam. So these are all the various colors that you can get in acoustic foam. You can get wedge foam, 2-inch wedge, 4-inch wedge, super affordable though. Acoustic grid foam. This is the kind of stuff they got a lot of times in vocal boost, because it has like a built-in, it's not just, sound absorption, but it's also diffusion at the same time. They have bass and broadband absorbers that are actually a lot cheaper than most places offer. These are the ones you would stick in the corners. And as you can see here, $31 for a corner bass trap. That's not bad at all, especially when you look at other websites. You're going to find $80 and above. But these actually do really good absorption. They are rated, so that means that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do. They're not just saying they're doing something. And they have pyramid foam. They have egg crate foam for those individuals that want egg crates on their walls. Yet again, most of these come with crazy amounts of collars too. Like here's sound barriers, like that you can stick under your microphone, under your speakers. Drop ceiling tiles. I mean, you can put these in your drop ceilings. But a lot of this stuff, they got open cell foam and closed cell foam as well. But like, let's say, so if I go to acoustic foam, one of the most common ones that you would put on the wall are these here, the pyramid foam. Typically speaking, you want 2-inch and above. But even if you went like with 3-inch, which is kind of a good middle of the road, a 12 by 12, so that would be 1 square foot, a 48 pack of, and here's all the colors you can choose from. Let's just say purple. 48 pack is $135. Okay, now if you get charcoal, it's $107. That is phenomenal for a 48 pack. That's going to cover 48 square feet of a wall. So whenever I had my old studio, I literally bought 1 pack of these and I was able to cover my entire studio, and then realized I did too much and had to actually take some down. So, but that's a super good deal. It's called 𝗵𝗲 𝗵𝗲 I'll post the link in the chat right now if you want to go and check that out. So yeah, there's options out there for those individuals that may want to have some sound absorption in their studios, that they feel like that's going to provide a better all around, way to go there. So yeah, let's go up, head back to the desktop here. Let's see. I've never used that. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 microphones I've heard though are not really that bad. Good deal. Shotgun long mice equals nice overhead, by the way. Yeah, I have heard as much. You said earlier that some of the mics you bought you acquired for specific reasons. Can you talk about some of the different reasons a person might need a different mic? That's a good question. So, and I apologize for that bottom part getting cut off. So if we go back to our mic locker right here. So obviously, the longer, thinner microphones over here on the left-hand side, the silver ones, those are measurement microphones. So those have a specific purpose. Like I'm going to measure my room with those. I'm going to measure what my listening space is in reference to where my speakers are at on my desk. So they're going to help me to actually measure sound pressure levels. They're going to help me to measure the room. So that's the specific purpose that those might have versus, the 𝗬𝗓𝗔 140 Air. I specifically got that because I heard it was great on acoustic guitar. Lo and behold, it was. And so I wanted something that was going to reject sound from above and behind. That way, if I wanted to mic an acoustic guitar at the same time as I'm miking a vocalist, I can get a pretty good acoustic guitar sound without a lot of bleed from the vocalist. So if I want to, affect that guitar only and not the vocals, then I can do so. With that being said too, obviously, there's these lapel mics that I've got down here on the table on the right-hand side. One of them takes a battery. The other one just plugs straight into an iPhone, and you can record with it that way. Those obviously serve a totally different purpose. So if I'm out and I'm doing an interview with somebody, or I'm doing a podcast on the road, I'm going to be taking those with me. So each microphone has different purposes, but, and then obviously, I bought the ML1, the slate microphone, because I specifically bought it to what I thought was going to be like the Swiss Army knife was going to replace a lot of the microphones that I already had, and I was going to actually start selling some of these microphones off. But now I've got some issues. I'm probably going to keep them all. But with that being said, as I'm still putting this thing through its paces, it's supposed to be a Swiss Army knife. I have yet to see that, but yet again, I haven't really put it through its paces yet. With that being said, I bought that one specifically for that reason, though. That way, if I had to throw one microphone in my backpack and go, I'm hoping that that's going to be the microphone that I can throw in there and get the greatest possible sound that I can get. Now, the reason why it does what it does is because it's an ultra linear microphone. By linear, I mean it doesn't have any kind of an EQ curve built into it. So all of the microphones that we've talked about up to this point, each one of them has sort of a built-in EQ curve because of the way that it's made. Let me move this back over. So, like say for instance, there's capacitors, there's transistors, there's a diaphragm. Some of them even have like onboard transformers. All of that stuff is adding something else sonically to what the microphone is picking up. So for that, and because of that, what's happening is that microphone is then getting a different EQ curve. And what I mean by this is each microphone actually has an EQ curve. In fact, most microphones will actually come with a diagram of what that EQ curve actually looks like. So I'm going to click on okay, so let me just Google real quick and I'll show you exactly what I mean here. All right, so here's a good this right here is kind of a good, just real quick grabbing this from out of nowhere. If I can get rid of all the ads on the page, crying out loud. So this here is sort of a good rendition of a microphone's EQ curve. So each microphone has one of these with it, like built into it. And most microphone, the manufacturer will actually provide that for you. So if I went to MXL Mics, like the actual website, not just Amazon. Let's see here. And I click on products. And nothing happens. Okay, there. Okay, so here's the, like say for instance, here's the 990. Okay. If we go to learn more, and we go down to tech specs, which is usually where it's found, there should be, so here's the polar pattern that we talked about earlier, and here's the EQ curve. So as you can see, it's got a bump around 5 to 10K. This is why it usually sounds a little 𝗧y, a little sibilant. It's got a little dip around 500, but it's pretty flat, but you can definitely tell it's a brighter microphone. Whereas if we went over here and we clicked on maybe this 𝗵𝗱67G, you can see here, if we go through the tech specs, a little bit wider pickup area. And then as you can see here, it's more of a gradual curve from 2K to 10K with a little dip around the nasally regions here and then a little dip around 100. So this is probably why I prefer it on most vocals, just simply because that looks like the EQ plot that I would normally put on a vocal anyway if I was EQing that vocal. So that's exactly what I mean, though, by each microphone is going to have a different EQ plot. So that's another specific reason why you would choose one mic over another. So going back to our microphones, let's go ahead and, before I cover any more questions, and I'll go back through these momentarily, but let's go ahead and cover small diaphragm condenser microphones, because we haven't really talked much about those yet. Now, these are less flashy. You know, I mean, they don't really show up on the covers of magazines as much. You don't see a lot of pictures of them in Tape-Op magazine or anything like that, but they're just as useful. I mean, despite their small stature, small diaphragm condensers have a great transient response, extended top end, and they also have consistent pickup patterns or polar patterns, as we just discussed. Now, this makes them great for realistic stereo techniques as well as acoustic instruments. So if you ever sat in on a classical music recording session, chances are you would see a ton of mostly small diaphragm condenser mics. Now, they often come in pairs, and this is for that stereo recording. So they're particularly effective for creating accurate stereo images of real acoustic spaces, and they're used a lot of times for creating impulse responses for various mic cabs and stuff like that. So with that being said, this would be another specific purpose, Joshua, to bring back to that. This would be another specific purpose for owning a small diaphragm condenser versus another if you have two of them to record in stereo. So Joshua also says, I can't always hear my own voice over the music, even with the headphones at low volume, and therefore find that I tend to overthink the vocals. Is that common? Yes. Yes, it is. But with that being said, you know, the technique and all of that probably takes longer to obtain, and it just takes doing it more before you find a workflow that works well for you. So definitely, you know, do your best to find that workflow that works well for you. Looks like Shepherd Voice is leaving us. But, you know, I understand. Can't be on here all day long, but I appreciate you being here. Take care, man. And of course, you can always come back and watch this as well. Now, the last one that we're going to talk about, and there's none of these on the table. I actually owned one at one time, and for whatever reason, I got rid of it. But are ribbon microphones. Now, ribbon technology dates all the way back to the earliest days of microphones, and photos from the golden age of broadcasting, as we call it. They're filled with presenters speaking into these classic ribbon microphones. And the ribbon microphones are, and they use this ultra thin, wait for it, ribbon of electroconductive material suspended between the poles of a magnet to generate their signal. So they work a little bit differently from others. But with that being said, you know, they still have validity. Now, ribbon microphones in their early designs were incredibly fragile. So this is a big con to them. Moving them improperly or even subjecting them to high levels of sound pressure levels or SPLs could actually cause the ribbons within them to break. And so a lot of times, you know, when people would get these out, the engineers would be like, I'll set the microphone up. I'll make sure the volume levels are good. You know, let me do it. Even, you know, they would jump in front of even their runners or their interns and say, I'm going to set this one up. But their sound was definitely worth the trade-off in durability, because ribbon mics are prized for their warm vintage tone. They have a very, very warm sound. In fact, they are also perfect whenever you need to tame excessive or harsh high end. So sources like guitar amps, drum overheads, or brass, they really shine on those. Now, ribbon microphones naturally produce a perfect figure 8 polar pattern as well, and they respond to EQ extremely well. So as I mentioned earlier, you know, some microphones don't respond well to EQ. Ribbon microphones typically do. And because they have that built-in figure of 8, they're great for recording stereo sources, especially if they're like sources that are like synths, overheads, even some room mics, if you have like a lot of high-end, you know, harshness. But remember, they are very dark. So if you use them in a situation for a room mic, you've got to filter out a lot of that low end. Now, even though today's ribbon mics aren't quite as fragile as they used to be in earlier designs, they're still easier to damage than dynamics or condensers. So you need to be careful still when you're handling them. But the most important rule of ribbons is never ever supply 48-volt phantom power to a ribbon microphone while it's plugged in. You could risk electrocuting the ribbon itself. Now, have I done that before? Yes. Do the microphones still work? Yes. Should you try it? No. I mean, even if it's an old wives' tale and that's not the case, it's still not worth trying it. So with that being said, I can't remember what the name of that microphone was. Now that's going to drive me nuts. It was very affordable though. Let me see if I can research this real quick and I'll show you the, yep. Is that it? No, it wasn't the golden age. It looked a lot like it though. Man, it looked just like that one. It wasn't the Cascades Fathead, which that's actually, I've heard a lot of good about that microphone. And there's one on here for $159. What? Why have I not bought that yet? Here I go again. See, I don't even need that microphone and I'm wanting to buy it. The Ковs. Yeah, the Kovs microphones are stinking amazing, but they're like up in the thousands. I'm not seeing it. It was like not an off-brand. I want to say it was a 𝗏𝗏. That was the name of it. Let me see if I can find that. If I remember correctly, it was actually really affordable. Yeah, that's not it. That's not the microphone. Well, anyway, if you happen to get a ribbon microphone, it's usually for a specific purpose. Like if you play a brass instrument, if you play saxophone, something like that, ribbon microphones are going to be your best friend. And they're even awesome on some voices. I mean, you can really do a lot with ribbon microphones because that figure of 8 is in there too. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So let's see here. What else was I going to cover? I think that's about it. I think we've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover with these microphones here in the back. I would like to discuss a little bit more on, using them in the setting of recording, but we're going to actually reserve that for our VIP members. So for those of you who are VIP members, there is going to be a series that's going to be coming up soon in the VIP membership area, where it's going to be a 3-part series on vocals, on microphones, on recording with microphones, mixing vocals. So I'm hoping that's going to be a big help to those of you who are recording yourself at home. So I'm going to go back through real quick just to make sure I didn't miss any of these questions. Let's see. Oh, wow. Got a lot of comments since I looked last time. Okay, so most of these are not questions as much as they are. Awesome. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Little microphone renting up in here. Nice. So the SM mics, he says, which one to choose, A or B? Honestly, I couldn't tell you, because that would be, I have not, I would have to be in the recording studio with you, or have to hear something from you to make a better decision based on that. However, what is that website? You can, however, go to a website that is called Audio Test Kitchen. So this is kind of cool. You can audition and actually compare up to 300 different microphones from here. Very cool. So let's see. Well, look, the 440 Pure is the first one that came up here. It even gives its MSRP right here. That's nice. So it's kind of giving you the EQ plots of all of the microphones that are selected here. Man, this is cool. Wow.
Who won test? We licking off shots in the west. We make believers out the.
Okay. Anyway, this is definitely a cool website if you want to go and check that out. Why have I not taken more full advantage of this? Very cool. So the Audio Test Kitchen site would be a great place for you to go and check out maybe some good sound examples. That might help. And then again, it may not. I don't know. It may actually cause more confusion in the long run. Who knows? But with that being said, there's definitely a lot of choices out there. I understand it can be overwhelmed, but honestly, don't make it, don't take it too seriously. Just get you a good large diaphragm condenser mic and you should be golden. Yes, the mesh is for protection of the diaphragm. So within the microphone itself, there's a small little thin film of gold sputtered, it's like mylar or something like that usually, but basically, essentially it acts like an eardrum. So whenever you sing, that gold sputtered doodad is fluctuating back and forth, and it's taking in those sound pressure waves, and it's what produces the sound of that microphone. It's really what produces the, not necessarily the sound of the microphone, because there's a lot of variables in there. But what it does is it produces the sort of the sonic landscape of the microphone, like the sensitivity of that mic. Some ears have been around this world for a lot longer, and they've listened to a lot louder music, so they're kind of wore out. And so older microphones will actually have a tendency to do that as well. They'll sag, is what they call microphones sag. So it's really treated just like an ear would. But by covering that, you protect it from spit, you protect it from plosives, you protect it from the elements. So yeah. The only thing I ever track live is guitar. I always use an SM58 that I've had for 30 years. Nice. Have a SE 2200 too, but ploppy. What? I'm not sure where this ploppy looks. Thank you. That looks great painted now. It was actually relatively easy too. Too good of a mic in a crappy room is going to be frustrating too. Yes, that's true. What is the name again of that expensive mic that can simulate all the vintage big mics that comes from software as well? Is that a big win? Like once for a lifetime? So yeah, the microphone that you're bringing up in question is the one that's on the back table on the very far end there on the left. It's the Steven Slate ML1, I believe is the name of that. and it's a modeling microphone. So it's very flat, linear, don't have any bumps, dips anywhere in it. And then you load into it various different microphones so that it emulates those microphones. So if I was to sort of showcase that real quick, I think I can do that, honestly. Let me make sure. I bring up an empty project, and then I will show you my desktopy. All right, so let's say I just recorded something with that Slate mic, the ML1. Then I could insert this. This is called the virtual mix rack. So the mic is the main selling point of it is that it is a virtual modeling microphone. So with that being said, now I can load in various different microphones to give it a different sound. So right here, you've got empty slots. Let me get this over here. You got these empty slots. I can load in to these empty slots. Sorry. So here's a B47. Now he tells you on the website which one of these microphones that it's supposed to be actually sort of mimicking. But yeah, here's all of the so here's an FG47. Here's FG800. You can kind of see by looking at them what they're supposed to emulate. 251. Here's an FG67. So you kind of know what that's supposed to be emulating on a Neumann U67. FG12, 𝗵𝗲 800M, 269. And then as we get into these classic tubes, as you can see, I don't own any of those. But essentially what it would do is it would take your recording from that flat linear mic, apply this imprint of that microphone on it. So it would try to make it sound as close to that microphone as it possibly could. But with that being said, it's really down to the user and, you know, to your ears. But then from there, the thing that's kind of cool about this though, is from there, I mean, you can build up your own virtual rack from this. So like say you want to go through a vintage 73 into one of these tube microphones, you know, into an EQ. Of course, I don't own that one, but you know, you can do that. Like, where's another one I was? Yeah, here we go. Into this revival. So yeah, you can essentially build your mic locker by buying packs of these digital emulations of those microphones versus buying the actual, you know, $7,000 microphone. Does it actually work like that? I still have yet to honestly put it through its paces. I'm going to try to do a full-blown review of this as soon as I get some of my other reviews caught up, because I am so far behind when it comes to reviews. I've still got plugins I need to review. It's crazy. So with that being said, is it the be-all, end-all? I can't honestly say as of right now. So, as the dog goes crazy in the background. Just for fun, how many mics do you own? For anyone, really? Oh, so how many mics do you own? So, oh, I get it. Okay. So everyone in the chat, put in the chat right now how many microphones you own. So mine are all back here on the table, plus the one that I'm speaking into. Maybe like there might be some extra like guitar, like built-in microphone type stuff like that that really doesn't count, but filters on the input. Okay. Snarky ploppy. I mic my guitar amp with a Sennheiser E906 and sing into a Sennheiser E865. But that's what I use in the rehearsal room or live if it becomes an option again at some point. Classic tube FG800 is based off the Sony $10,000 microphone. So it seems to me, but more expensive isn't necessarily better. Seems it kind of depends on the makeup of the mic, what caters to the work that you. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I've been trying to say pretty much the whole time I've been on here today. Basically, buy what is going to work for you, and though you can't always, though you can't always afford the microphone that you want, you can probably afford one that's a lot more affordable that'll get you at least 90% of the way there. So awesome. So we got 3, 2, Herky's got 3, 4 at the moment, says Jari. Awesome. All right. Well, I hope today's live stream has been informative in some way, shape, or form, that it's helped. Maybe for you to understand more like what microphone might be a more sensible purchase for you in the future. And not even just, this wasn't just about like, hey, go buy more microphones. This was also hopefully to be more educational in the sense of why would I need that microphone, or why would I need to use this microphone over another? So, yeah, like I said, hopefully this has been educational in the least bit. I want to try to make this the best place that you can come to get the best information that you can. And one of the things that I'm going to try to do my best as well here in the days that come, the VIP membership area is going to be the main place I'm going to be doing stuff like this. And I'm going to be reserving the channel for more fun stuff. Not that this wasn't fun, but this teaching type stuff I feel like is probably more fit for a different audience, like an audience that is more invested in what they're doing. They're more serious about their music. I'm not saying that I'm going to quit doing this altogether on my channel. But one thing is, the plugin reviews and stuff like that, the product reviews, the breakdown videos, that's really kind of the direction that the channel is headed, just for the sense that that's where most of the people that are coming here are saying that's what we want. And obviously, you have to give the people what they want. So for those that have stuck around and they're wanting the more tutorials, like teach me how to do this, or why would I do that kind of thing, that's going to be more reserved for the VIP memberships moving forward. And what that should do is help me to create more pinpointed and profitable for you guys content that's going to be more profitable for you and your studios, like what's going to actually bring you the best results. Not profitable money-wise, but profitable for your studios. And it very well could be money-wise, because you start getting better recordings, you can start selling stuff more. So with that being said, as the dog goes crazy still, you know what time it is. It's time to spin the wheel of awesomeness. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to spin the wheel. Actually, spun the wheel the right time this time. Okay, we're right in the middle of a tutorial and video request, so let's just, tutorial request and favorite. So let's just do them both. First and foremost, what is your favorite mic? Or what is the favorite tip that you learned today that you were like, wow, that was good. I'm going to take that, stick it in my back pocket, and use it. And furthermore, what kind of a tutorial would you like to see here on the channel or in the VIP membership area? What would be something that you'd be like, I'd really like to... Static noise. I'm not sure. Gonna get some Vaseline for his lips. Good deal. Yes, there is a free plugin right now by 𝗵𝗲 𝗛𝗦. They make some awesome plugins Thank you, DJ Big Red 81, for posting that in the chat, making everybody aware of that. We're not necessarily affiliated with them around here, but anytime we can point you in the direction of a good free plugin, why not? He says you will need an iLok in order to activate the software. Good deal. All right, so while we are checking out the Wheel of Awesomeness and all the awesomeness that goes with it, I hope this has been beneficial for you. Good deal. Waiting for some favorites to roll in. What's been your favorite tip that was shared today? What's your favorite microphone that you currently use? I don't know. Put a favorite all up in here. By the way, if you have not liked the video thus far and you're still here, smash that like button. We've had now we got more likes than we have viewers. Okay, that's always a good thing. I can handle that. So I realize that this has all been kind of very teachy today. Hello, Sean. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Tried to make it as interesting as possible. When you start talking about stuff like this, it can be kind of boring at times. Hopefully it's not boring. The Roswell Mini K87. I've heard a lot of good about those mics. By the way, Demos is a first timer on the streams. So good to have you. Big round of applause for that, brother. All right. So something I would also like to cover real quickly. For those of you that are still here, you're hanging out, just want to have some fun. I have officially opened the doors again for the rocket fuel bundle. Now, if you're like, what in the world is he talking about? So the rocket fuel bundle is an all-intrinsic, everything that you need in one place training session that takes course over about a month and a half. So this is going to be like, if you're into music production and you want to know how to make music faster, you want to know how to crank out songs every single week, every single month, this is going to be the best bet for you. So there's a lot that's involved with this. I have included a link in the description. It's actually pinned up on the very top of the screen. Bundle is a tried and proven method to get more done when you sit down to, but with that being said, that was weird. It just played right over top of me. But yeah, if you want to get hyper focused on your music production so that you can churn out those songs faster, and you struggle finding time as a music producer with all the demands of life, you have a job, you have wife, kids, or maybe you feel like the music that you're producing is just lacking quality to get that actually released in a way where you feel like you're confident that you can, this is why I have created this course. So this is more than just a course, though. It's actually a bundle. You get an EQ cheat sheet. You get my Cakewalk Pro Start template. You get a 15-step mixing system. You get PDF guides that come with the Cakewalk course. You get an Ultimate Cakewalk by BandLab tutorial course. That's a $97 value. You get Compression Simplified course, $47 value. My Creating a Song Step-by-Step 2.0 video course that's not offered anywhere but through this and on my store. That's there. You also will get a song collaboration opportunity, 5 video conference calls. These are with a small group of 10 or less. And then you're also going to now get a free 30-day trial membership of the VIP members group. So the doors are going to be open for the month of March only, with meetings beginning in early April. So the doors are only open for this month, or until I reach 10 members. Once I reach 10 members, I close the doors because I don't want any more than 10 people in here at a time, because this is really like hyper focused. I want to make sure that everybody is getting the help that they need, that they can ask the questions that they need to ask. And I want to make sure that everybody involved feels like they're getting helped as well. So either way, once you're in, though, you're going to be placed on an email list as well as a private group that will notify you of when the sessions are going to begin. And I'm going to keep you in the loop as far as what you might need to prepare for those future sessions as well. There's a total of 5 sessions. These take place bi-weekly. So you'll have a hour-long Skype session, usually 30 minutes of teaching, 30 minutes of Q&A, as well as there's a lot of these sessions too that just you're presenting homework, and we're going through your homework so that you actually have actionable things that you have to do in order to, it forces you to get better. It's great. So some previous members that have taken this course, Chris Knowles, who's been around here several times, he says the material was not earth-shattering or even some new gimmick, but Robert covered some simple, practical ways to get you up and running without all of the bells and whistles that a lot of people are promising. Shows you how to take advantage of the talents that you already own. 𝗬𝗓𝗓, he said the homework really helped me to solidify the learning by forcing me to put into practice what was already covered, and then I was challenged the whole time to become better, and Robert also made it fun. Until I took the course, I never produced my own song, says Jürgen. I had the ideas, but they never took shape. However, by the 3rd session, I had the very first song I ever released on my own. And then Zed said, and this is crazy, he said, I went from writing a song once every 3 months, if I was lucky, to creating 5 songs in the course of a couple weeks. So this is a tried and proven method to get you up and running. Yes, you are more than welcome, Stan the Swim Man, to ask as many questions as you'd like. DJ Big Red 81 says, I have a question about the rocket fuel. If you've already purchased and own a lot of the products that are included in the rocket fuel bundle. So if you own everything that's already included in the bundle, if you're a VIP member, if you own the Cakewalk course, if you already own Compression Simplified, basically what I will do is I will prorate you based off of the price of what those are, and I'll take that off of your induction price. So I've never done that before, but I'm going to do that now. So if you want to join, if you own the Cakewalk course, so let's just see what that would add up to. Let's go back to the old website here. And I'll just kind of show you what that would look like. So if we go back to the website, click on the store here. So here's the way that I'm structuring this. And the other cool thing about this that I've never done before, at least this easily, is I'm offering a payment plan. So if you can't afford the full price of $297, you can actually pay 3 payments of $99 or 2 payments of $148.50 and still get all of access from day one to everything that you need. So as soon as you purchase this, you get access to everything that this includes. So like, let's say you already are a VIP member. Okay, so I'm going to deduct $10 off of it. Let's say you already own Compression Simplified. I'm going to take $47 off of it. If you already own the step-by-step course, I'm going to take another $27. If you own the Ultimate Cakewalk course, I'll take another $67 off the price. So if you already own those things, then yes, I will deduct that off of the tuition price to get in your foot in the door. So a little bit has changed in the sense of this time around, and that's why the ticket price is a little bit higher, but we also have a lot more to offer this time that we didn't have before. And I've also honed it into where when I first started this, it was kind of like, people were kind of like basically helping me plan it out and but now that I've tested it, I've tried it, I've seen that it works. I've got a method. I know for sure I can charge this without batting an eye and know that you're guaranteed to get results. All right, Stan the Swim Man. What kind of a question did you have, brother? Let's hear it. Stan the Swim Man. Is he still with us? Okay. Is it okay to record bass direct plus the SM57 from my small amp, recording simple jazz for my kids to listen? Absolutely. with that being said, that's actually not a bad idea to record a direct and from an amp at the same time. And even though you're recording bass, I would recommend you having a larger amplifier for that, as it's going to produce better low end. But there's ways that you can accentuate that by recording the DI source and then using a amp simulator. So yeah, but you're more than welcome to do just that. It's not a problem at all. DJ says, I have everything included except compression simplified, as I didn't purchase it because you forgot it was still on YouTube and didn't remove it until I reached out to you. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, then I would deduct 67 plus, what's the other one, 27. So I hate math. So that would be what, $94. So your total ticket price would be $203 then. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, let me know, reach out to me if you do want to sign up that way. If you already own something, because if you do already own something, then like I said, I will deduct that off the price tag. But I can't just like, you can't sign up here and then me deduct that later. So email me first and say, hey, I'm interested, but I already own these. Please deduct this off my price, and I'll get you a special code that will give you the Rocket Fuel bundle for that price. All right. Well, I hope we all learned a lot about microphones today and which microphones might be the best for your home studio. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to ask them. Head on over to the Facebook group as well, the HSS Collab group. If you'd like to be a part of that group, it's a really great group of awesome individuals who are all the time helping one another with questions and just being awesome. Likewise, if you have any questions about the Rocket Fuel bundle, feel free to ask as well. You can always email me at homestudiosimplified@gmail.com. And then also from there, you can even take that a step farther if you'd like. And on my website, there's actually a messenger icon where you can message me. And I usually get back to those within, a week. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like usually within an hour. So is it also including mixing, or do we not go that far? Is that for the bundle, or I'm not sure what you're asking? Little music room. Stan, yes, this will be on the channel. It will be evergreen, so you can always come back to it and watch it again just in case you need to. See you later, Midnight Blue Movies. Good to have you again. The Little Music Room had a question here. I want to make sure that I completely understand what your question was before I sign off of here today. Yes. Okay. So the bundle itself, yeah, it's everything that has to do with music production. So I will take you through like step by step. Like here are the things that I do when I sit down to write a song. Here are the things that I do to make songs faster. Here's the things that I do to make them sound better. Here are the things that I do to mix them, to master them. Yes, everything is included. So by the time you get done with the Rocket Fuel bundle, essentially it's going to be like a college course condensed down into a month and a half of training. And it's got homework with it, the good kind of homework, fun homework. It's got homework with it. It's got PDF guides. It's got access to a private group where you can ask questions amongst the members that are there as well. And on top of that, you get access to all of my courses. So while we're like in between sessions, because we have them bi-weekly. So the first one will start on April 2nd. We'll have that session, 30 minutes of Q&A, 30 minutes of teaching. And then from there, like in between that session to the next session, you can be watching those tutorials, or even if you purchase it now, you have 28 days to watch those tutorials until the doors close anyway, because you get those tutorials like from day one when you purchase. And those are always yours too. You can always come back and get them. Once you purchase them, they're always online. They're always there for you to look up and to get. So great question. But yes, this bundle covers everything music production. It covers, I mean, all of the nuts and bolts all the way into, in fact, I guarantee you will get farther ahead than you've ever got before. And I can say that unequivocally because I've seen it time and time again. Everyone who has joined the Rocket Fuel bundle has walked away and went, wow, that was amazing. In fact, one guy said he wishes he would have done that instead of take 7 years of college at Full Sail University. I needed to throw that in there on that. Those customer testimonials, by the way. So you sign up for the Rocket Fuel bundle on the page. You just go straight to HomeStudioSimplified.com. It's actually pinned at the very top right now in the chat. And you can sign up through there. You'll also find, Chris, that I do have payment options this time around, because I know last time, I think it was you. So I think it was you last time that asked about payment plans. I don't know. But yeah, if you click on that link, it will take you straight to the store, which will show you everything you need to do from there. And you can also click on the payment plans. And just because you use the payment plan doesn't mean that you get anything less as well. So by using the payment plan, you get everything that everyone else gets right off the bat from day one. You don't have to wait until you're paid in full to get everything either. So it's sort of my way of like helping people out, because I know with COVID and everything that's been going on lately, it's been very hard for some people to make it. So I totally get that. What is the chance that I'm currently in your house? Okay, that's weird. The doors are open for 30 days or 10 people. Own anything that is included, reach out to her. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And that's a good point too, because Chris, I think you actually own some products of mine. So if you own a product of mine already that's included in the bundle, let me know and I will deduct that from the price. So if you own Compression Simplified, I'll take $47 off the price, but you have to email me in order for me to do that. Like you can't buy it and then me refund you that money. I'll have to give you like a special sign-on code in order to get that. So great questions though. If you have any more questions about that or anything that we've covered today, feel free to ask them. Reach out through email, reach out through the messenger tab on the website, and I will get back with you. It looks like DJ Big Red 81 does have one more question. If I sign up, would I still have access to the payment options with the deal, reduced price because of owning products included? That's a good point. I don't see why I couldn't do that. Yeah, I could probably do that. Yeah, just let me know. Send me an email, let me know, and then I'll try to get that all worked out for you. And if I can't, I'm pretty sure I can though. So if nothing else, we can do it old school style. We'll kick it OG. But yeah, if you're interested in signing up, remember there's only 10 slots available though. Once there's 10 members, the doors close, because I got to make sure that everybody that's in there has like razor sharp focused, hands-on ability. Once you get more than 10 people, you can't answer everyone's questions, and you have way too much homework. And then a 1 hour Skype session turns into a 2 hour Skype session, into a 3 hour Skype session. So yeah, just shoot me an email, DJ, and we'll talk about it. We'll work through all of the particulars. But all right, until next time, guys, I appreciate everyone being on here today. You all rock. Love each and every one of you. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel as well, because we got some really cool stuff coming up. Remember, the Studio Without Walls contest is over, but I'll be drawing the winners in just a few short days. We're also going to have the winners of the songs that's been chosen. Those are going to pop up. And if you entered your song, this is very important, by the way, if you entered your song on the usual song contest, the monthly song contest form, and you didn't enter it into the Studio Without Walls song contest form, I need to know that, because I need to know which one was actually entered for the monthly song contest versus the Studio Without Walls song contest. That's imperative that you let me know that. So until next time, guys, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.